Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're starting a new project I'm calling Fiume, which is Italian for river, and the project is to look at managing streams of money or pools of money. All right, so my goal is an app to track scenarios of financial pools and streams over time. So I'm close enough to retiring that I want to evaluate options. I want to think about what if I use this money first or that money first. So this is a tool that I might want to use. And I've got a couple technical goals. Basically, I want to use observable, which is the newish approach to notification and managing Swift UI to look at objects and decide when to show them. And I also want to use Swift data. I haven't used that at all. Okay, so we'll do those two things for sure. All right, now I've got in mind a bunch of concepts, and so I'll start here, then I'll show kind of the user interface I have in mind and talk a little about how I think about what we're doing. So one thing we have is people. So they're going to be individuals. They've got a birth date and possibly a death date. So if I want to look at what if I take Social Security at 67 and then die when I'm 68, what happens? Okay, that would be an example of using that death date. All right, now another notion is a pool, which is a lump of money. You either owe it or own it. A piggy bank is a very small pool. Your 401k or retirement fund is a bigger pool. If you have a mortgage on a house, that debt is a pool. Okay. And then the contrast to that is streams, and it's money. Streams are money over time. So an annuity where you every month you get a check, basically some amount of money, and it's income to you, or a mortgage where you're going the other way, you're paying out every month. So you've bought the right to pay this loan back a month at a time. All right, now you can convert pools to streams and vice versa. So an easy way to convert a pool to a stream is just start taking money out of it. Like if it's a bank account, just take out $1,000 a month, and now you have $1,000 a month stream for as long as the account lasts. If you go to an insurance company, they'll sell you an annuity. If you go to a bank, they'll possibly lend you something. So, okay. And then to assess how we're doing, I'm going to think about net worth, which is how much you have minus how much you owe. Okay, so if you have $200,000 in the bank, but you owe $100,000 on your house, then your net worth is $100,000. All right, and then a couple accounting terms: an asset is something you own, a liability is something you owe, income is something you get, and expenses are money you spend. And then I also have this notion of an assumption, some sort of estimate of some quantity. All right, so if I want to say, I don't want to deal with inflation on this. I'm going to try and work in real dollars. But if I want to estimate stock, like how much do stocks pay you over time? Well, usually you hear things like 7-8%. But there's also inflation. So if it's 8%, but inflation's 4%, you really only net 4%. So if we wanted to use that quantity of 4%, that would be an assumption of some sort. Okay, so the idea I have is that you're going to have these I don't know what to call them. Some of them are assumptions, some of them are just they're streams or pools that you own. Okay, so we're looking from the bottom to the top. The baseline, Alice is born in 1970, Bob's born in 1980. Both of them are presumed still alive. They have an asset that's a savings account with $25,000, an IRA with $170K. Their salary is $4,200 a month, and their expenses are $3,500 a month. Okay, so these, I guess those are facts. There's no interpretation or kind of what if to them. But then I want to be able to stack on what ifs on top. Okay, so the first level of what if is like I make a plan. So I might say I'm going to save $250 a month to my bank and $150 a month to an IRA. Okay, and so of my $4,200, I guess if I'm treating that as a separate expense, I've got $3,900 spoken for, but my savings asset will increase 250 every month, and my IRA will increase 150 every month. All right, and then I want to set up some scenarios. One is the choice of when do I retire. So I could, let's see, this one stop salary in 2030 and then collect Social Security in 2032, 2037, or 2040. So normally it's age 62, 67, or 40, at least for people born in the 60s or later, I think. Maybe it's late 50s. Okay, and so all this combined should give me three separate things. I mean, there are three possible scenarios there for retirement, and I'm showing on the right sort of a guess. It's made up completely, but a net worth. If I retire too early, maybe I end up running out of money, and I'm just kind of in this zero value stream at some point. Maybe retiring in the middle one, I don't run out of money, I don't increase dramatically, but the third one really dramatically increases my total net worth. I don't know. It's three possibilities, but I'm imagining that I could stack up, what if one spouse retires at these 3 points, and then stack up another one? What if the other spouse retires in one of these three situations? And that would give me 9 possibilities. And then maybe I say, what if the one spouse dies in 2039? What are the consequences? And kind of work through all those kinds of scenarios. So I anticipate the stuff on the blue section is going to change all the time. The green section I'm treating as sort of like my current plan or my current commitment to myself. And then the baseline is kind of like, these are the givens, the known state of things. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. Now I'm trying to envision, like, what's the model for this thing. All right, and I have several things I've come up with, and I don't quite know the right best answer. One of them is the notion of panes of glass. And the idea there is you're layering stuff on top. So maybe I have the baseline corresponds to the yellow, and the red corresponds to my plan, and the blue corresponds to my scenarios. And if I stack those up together, then I get that multicolored shape there, because different levels have different transparent parts that show through. And the relationship to this is, if I assume Alice is born in 1970 and no death date, but later I put in a scenario that says Alice dies in 2025, it's still going to have Alice born in 1970. So some of the information is coming from that bottom layer, the baseline, and some of it's coming from the most recent thing. I need to kind of merge all that into one giant scenario. Another model I know is an and or tree, and the idea is some things are and, so at some levels all those nodes must be true, and some things are or, where multiple possibilities arise. All right, and again, that or bit corresponds to where I have scenarios 1, 2, 3. Those would be alternatives, but the other stuff is all sort of an and. I'm saying Alice was born in 1970, and Bob was born in 1980, and their savings are $25,000. All those are kind of one cluster, and then the or is visible underneath them. And depending how you look at the tree, I could look at the leaves of the tree as being, it's sort of like the panes of glass thing. If you look from the leaves back up to the root, you kind of get to a view of a given situation. And then the or node could have more alternatives. Any of this could have more alternatives. And so there's sort of a different possibilities there. And that gets into the next one, combinatorics. If I have 3 scenarios for the husband and 3 for the spouse, and then 2 scenarios for whether a spouse dies, I've got 3 times 3 times 2 possibilities. All right, now that can get out of hand very quickly, but I'm thinking, most of the time you're probably looking at, 10 possibilities, maybe 100. I don't know if that's outrageous, but not millions. Okay, so Another view of what's happening when I have or, these alternate scenarios. Another possibility is something around a timeline and a time series. And I think that's going to happen if I'm going to be calculating net worth, which is a value over time. Okay. I could also imagining showing blocks, like if my savings account, if it's, if today it has some value, and then I close it in 2030, I could show that savings blob, that pool, as being active in those times. So I think that's relevant. Another possibility is accounting, or maybe it would be better to call it finance, I guess. But we have this notion of assets and liabilities and so on. They're all financial terms and financial ideas. There may be something in there we can use to pull it together. Next level is I have the notion of dependencies. So if I want to represent insurance, well, insurance kicks in when a spouse dies, say, and we can create dependencies that, the start date of the insurance is the end date of the spouse. Okay. Accounting, I wrote that twice, even though I think it should be finance. And then the last is water flow. I mean, I'm kind of coming from this notion of streams and pools. I have an income stream, or I have an expense stream, or I have a pool of money, you know. And so what's the overall model? I don't know yet. I think we'll take it as it goes, but I'm trying to be sensitive to what I could be driving for. I think the and or tree idea kind of has it builds in that notion of combinatorics. It builds in the notion of layering scenarios kind of from root to leaf, or look at it backwards from leaf to root, but you kind of have the panes of glass idea in there. So I think that may be a good structure, but I don't know. We'll start doing some scenarios. I mean, some, scenario on our side, what happens if I have this income and this expense and so on, see what arises and relate them back to this. But I don't want to let it go floating. I mean, I think there's an overall model that we can hook things into if we decide what's the right one. All right. And then one more little thing. I'm going to take a chance and use a unit test naming convention that Jeff Langer proposed. So instead of naming classes like something tests, he uses a whatever, and whatever, or some whatevers to represent, if I'm testing a stack, it's a stack, And so testing my objects with a class named like that. And then the test methods are going to be more like verb, in, or when, or whatever, a context. So hopefully if you read the title of the class and then read the title of the tests, they hopefully sound like they add up to a real thing. Okay, so I don't know if this is all too vague and fuzzy. Mudshark, thanks for your subscription. That's great. Appreciate it a lot. You've been made an amazing difference for me over the last few months working on these things. All right, so I've set up a project, very minimal. I started it out. I put in an icon because I feel like the project gets real once you do that. We have a to-do and a keynote and SwiftLint. So I've gotten that working. And we've got the out-of-the-box app and content view. All right. And let's see. Do Swift tests. I don't know. We'll find out. I think the test method has to say tests. I don't know if the class does. It probably assumes it. Oh, I deleted the UI tests, I guess. Okay. Let's just run these tests, get things primed here. Make sure I didn't screw anything up in that. And if we have to do that, well, I'll adapt it. Okay. It's going to take a minute. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So at least we have things hooked up. All right. So I don't know, like, where to start. It's always interesting to be starting something, but one thing I think is, I want to have the notion that, well, I don't know, what do we call this overall thing? It's, I don't know if the overall thing is a plan. That's not quite the right word. It's not a scenario. Um, Maybe it is a plan. I don't know. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, right. Um, I guess let's start with plan. So let's name this um, a plan. A plan. Okay. And the test, well, I think the first scenario I want to set up, hmm, or the first given. Let's put a salary in there. Okay, so I think I think if you put in a salary, well, let's run it and see. I guess this is okay. Good. Yeah, I have to say test though on this, and no complain if I don't. So the method has to have test. All right. So let's test salary. Um, and then what's it doing, or what's the context? I think it's salary builds net worth. I mean, if you had no expenses, okay. So I gotta, I'm gonna build a plan, and then I'm gonna add, um, I'm gonna add a something. I don't know. Is it a stream? No. Yeah. Maybe it's a stream, and it's named salary. And um, let's make it 1,000 a month. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but if you project that plan 12 months, I don't know, this is kind of weird. um, Maybe I start with the assert, but somewhere plan dot. Well, I think I think it's you have. Let's say you have salary. I don't know if there's. Hmm. Well, is the plan dependent on your salary? Is that the name of the amount? I think salary is a stream that's going to pay you $1,000 a month indefinitely at this point. And then I'm saying, what if we project out 12 months? Then I think what we should say, I don't know if it's savings. Um, I'm going to say plan.asset savings should be equal to 12,000. Okay. And so I'm just trying to get a bare minimum thing started here. All right. So I'm sort of implicitly assuming there's a savings asset, and maybe that's, I think it's almost like, well, it's got to go somewhere, right? And we haven't set up any expenses. So I'm just sort of assuming there's always a savings asset. That might be a bad assumption, but you got to have something. And I think saying your money flows into your savings no matter what, um, that seems that seems right. Yeah, we haven't dealt with interest. I guess I'm saying savings. I don't know. This is maybe it doesn't have to be put anywhere. Maybe this is your net worth. I don't know. Does that seem to belong on the plan? Let's start it there. Like somehow, if you've done this stuff, okay, I don't know. Well, we're going to add some, we'll do the class, we'll do it in here for now. All right, so I've got a stream. I'm kind of assuming these are classes, and I got a plan. Okay, and a stream, it took a name and a monthly amount. I'll say int for now. Let's start getting these classes in. Let's say dollar. I don't know. I'm kind of willing to make it dollar. U.S. imperialist approach, I guess. Okay. So we got to have two arguments, and then we have a plan, and it has an add method, and it takes a stream. And does nothing, no return. And then we had a project method, which I kind of think is not right. Months of int. Oh, I didn't define dollar. We'll just make it type alias for now. Add project does something. And then net worth is dollars. 0. Oh, stream of stream. Okay. Yeah, we're going to need a amount. So, okay. This should be enough to fail the test. Yeah, that's all complaining. Okay. Why would that not be mutable? Okay. Well, the test failed. Good. 0 is not equal to 12,000. Well, I guess I can start getting some of these habits. Okay. Right. It says we wanted 12,000, but we got 0. So that's fine. Project. Well, I mean, we can do the cheap way out, right? 12,000. Okay, so I mean that's enough to get us forward, but yeah, we need to keep a list or a map somewhere. Now, I think a list is probably needed because going back to the picture, right? We have all these givens or baseline things. They're going to be things that we had to we want to keep track of, and we're going to show them in the same order, I guess. So I think list probably makes sense. All right. So this is green. Let's commit, even though it's green and ugly. First test. Yeah, there's no interest implied by this. We'd have to have something that adds to it. I mean, I think that's perfectly reasonable. I definitely want that, but it's a ways from where we are. I'm more worried at this point of like, how do I build this in a way that we can manipulate it and kind of get this initial like balance between objects. I mean, a stream to me makes very good sense in terms of what I'm thinking about, you know, that you get a paycheck, say, or you pay an amount on your mortgage, you know, it's this stream either going in or out, and that money has some. Everything's going to have a name, but that has a monthly amount that is involved. Okay, now the place I'm less clear. See, I think plan and projecting are different things. I don't know why I don't have nouns for any of this stuff, but I'm feeling it. Okay, but let's break. Let's start refactoring a little. Get this stuff into separate classes. I don't know. Maybe that's not too helpful. Let's do this. Okay, so instead of breaking that out, let's move this thing forward a little bit. So a plan is going to have it's going to have things. I don't know, a word for assets and liabilities jointly. And a stream isn't exactly, well, it's sort of an asset, but it's not like a pool of money. I'll call it assets for now, but I don't, or maybe it's income if it streams. Okay, I think that's a thing to have. Equals stream empty. Okay, so I'm starting off with a pile of streams. Well, I certainly want to add my stream to my income. Append stream. And then projecting. Yeah, this is where I'm not so clear. And whether net worth is the right, well, I don't know. Well, I want to do something that's like for well, maybe it's like month stop for each. This, I want to somehow add the value of that income stream into my total. So, is this just a variable? Oh, I thought I had a way to iterate over those. Okay. Net worth plus equals. Well, it's really. Yeah, I could see doing that. Um, but I think what I want to do with net worth. Well, let's just make it a stream for a minute here. We haven't got two yet. Okay, so I'm backing off on the array thing, so I don't have to iterate through that. Stream dot monthly amount. Income. Okay, and then plan. Income of stream. I'll just start it off with an empty one. Okay. And then I need monthly amount. Well, let's save those. Well, let's just do var name of string, var monthly amount of dollar. Okay, I believe this will do the same thing. Let's run it again. All right, let's commit that. I don't know. Still early. Okay. Right. So what's already confusing me or annoying me or something? I think the idea of projecting because and maybe I'm looking forward, but I want to do this thing of having scenarios, right? The the projection is not a function of the plan. The plan is just the net of all these assumptions and decisions. And so I don't think project should be doing that. I mean, I don't think it's an attribute or a function of plan. It is now because we only have one plan, one stream. Okay. So that seems okay-ish. Maybe that's a future thing, but I want to be sensitive to the fact that there's a a distinction between the plan and the effect of it under a bunch of assumptions. And the plan is all the scenarios together, and maybe the scenario maybe scenario is the right word for projecting it. All right, should there be net worth for past years, get a static interest and a compound network for the current year? Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of, well, I'm not totally sure what I want. I mean, that should be clear by now. But I sort of want to get to the point of doing this projection, for some fixed amount of time, maybe like, I don't know, I think 25 years or something like that order. And this stuff is all, I mean, this is saying they have an initial balance, 25,000 in savings, 170 in IRA, a net worth for past years. So I think if you walked in your plan and you set up those two things, those two assets, and then you apply it out for 25 years, your resulting balance will be your net worth. But to graph it, we have to get the various data points for these things. So I think that's kind of involved. Normally, yeah, there'd be some sort of interest. I mean, I definitely would say, like some sort of estimated stock growth or something like that. Or, yeah, I mean, savings gets interest, there should be something there. Now, I mean, honestly, savings, I mean, right now, are banks paying more than the rate of inflation? Not really. They're negative, in effect. So that kind of sucks. Welcome to life. But an IRA should definitely have some sort of growth. But I think even just if I just take my salary and my expenses, and ignore the assets for now, if I'm spending more than I make, I'm gonna have built up some net worth in this scenario. So that feels right to me. That should be the case. It should grow as your savings from your salary. Yeah, I think you implicitly start with nothing, and then when you add assets, they they go somewhere. Now, where they're going, I don't know how we're going to say like, oh, I want to put it in savings or I want to put it in IRA or something. We'll have to build that. But I think there's some notion, like I'd like some notion of something funds something. And so my salary is going to fund my expenses, and then the rest of it goes into my net worth. And we haven't said where it's going, and maybe it's just kind of in a limbo, implicit, implicit net worth, which is good if you're making more than you spend, and bad if you don't. Okay, but yeah, so I mean, I think a zero start is implicit to me, but as you add in these initial assets, then you'll raise that. And maybe this should be like initial savings or something, but I think of savings as the kind of, I don't know, I think account, but it's not really necessarily an account. All right. So this got through one piece by saying you only have one stream. So I think let's build a test. I mean, that was enough to do some stuff. I mean, that's not nothing, but let's say salary minus expenses creates net worth. Okay. I'm going to add two things, and this is another stream, just my usual expenses. And let's say I'm in a good position, and let's make it easy on ourselves. 900. So I'm making 1,000 a month. I'm spending 900 a month. If I project out 12 months, well, that should be 1,200 because I have 12 months of $1,200. Okay. And now this should fail because we only keep the latest thing. And actually my expenses should be negative. What did we get? Yeah. Okay. Well, Oh, how do I get that over there? It gave it to me a minute ago. Something minus 10,800. Yeah, so that's minus 900 times 12. Okay, so I kept track of the expenses, but not the salary. Okay, all right. So, and that's because I didn't, I kept this from being an array. And this is why I hate the word income here. I don't know, is there a finance term for generic term for income and expenses? Yeah, I'm writing an app with income and yeah, okay. Yeah, stream, okay. That'd be entries, transactions. Yeah, cash flow. Well, stream is kind of a series of transactions. Yeah. Net income, yeah. Right. I mean, but yeah, that's the problem is they are, well, maybe they're streams. Okay. That's the word I want. Because an entry is what we put in each month as this stream sort of realizes itself. I don't know if you have a way to record an ongoing expected expense or how do they handle that, honestly. But I think I can. Can I do this? No, they've changed the words again. Okay. Let's call this streams. And this is streams. Okay. Okay, so I'm switching the word first, and then I'm going to turn it into an array. Okay, and then this is dot append. Append the stream. And then now I need to walk through my streams. So each month I'm going to go through my streams and increase my net worth or decrease it by the monthly amount. Okay, so, right. So I think that should do it. If I hit the wrong thing, it's telling me to choose a profile template. Like, that's not the right thing. I must have hit profile somehow. Okay. So allow multiple streams. All right. That well, streams holding stuff, that feels okay. Projecting seems like the kind of thing that has to happen somewhere. We roll through the range of months you want and produce each one, but I don't think the overall plan is right. The right place. I don't think it's. I mean, what we're doing is okay as far as it goes. Now, I don't know if we have enough to start implementing UI. What I'd really like, I want to get this net worth thing going too. The chart version of it. So projecting 12. All right, let's break this stuff out a little bit and refactor for a few minutes here. So let's make a new file. It's a Swift file. $. And I'm just trying to pull this stuff into real. Okay, for now that'll hold us. But I don't want to go too far down the path without doing it. Okay, so that's that one. Let's pull out stream. Wouldn't it be nice to be in IntelliJ and just right click and go extract class? Okay. All right, how's this doing? Cannot find plan. Now, why are you different? Okay. Now, let's commit that. Not sure why it's showing me that, but okay. All right. So, yeah, I guess what I want to say is if I the goal of doing this is I want to see the effective I want to see the effect on net worth of doing something. So if I were to add in something that reduced expenses by $100 a month, do I get $1,200? Sorry, do I get? Well, if I reduce it $100 a month, I double my savings. Do I get that? All right. So maybe this is already I think it's time to understand charts. maybe that's the maybe that's the next thing. Swift charts. Okay, because we want these kind of charts, line charts. All right, define a data source. Yeah, so toy shape. Right. So I'm kind of imagining us getting to the point of showing some very primitive version of this on the left and the net worth impact on the right as a chart and project. Okay. Project is going to somehow, I really want it, I don't want it to just produce one monthly amount. I want to produce a list of these things that somehow looks like my data. Create identifiable string. And then I want to make marks for each data. Do something. Well, okay. That's pretty. But I want a line chart. Okay, but that's okay. But somehow my data elements, well, they're really just going to be the dollar amounts of my net worth at a given time, right? So I guess I want project to, well, I want to be able to project, like, I would think a normal analysis I'd want to do would be like 25 or 30 years. Okay. I mean, if you retire at 65, maybe you live to 95. That's a little high for most folks. But I don't have to worry that you're going to live to 150 or anything, right? So some number of years projection would be appropriate. And especially like if your decision is when to retire, right? You you may have some limits into what that can be. It's, most of us don't have an option from any year from, age 7 on or anything like that. Okay. But I think what that's telling me is I really don't want project to give me the net worth at the end of that. Well, I could if I looked at each month, but really I would like to say for so many months, give me the data, the net worth data. So I'm going to go back to plan. I guess plan is going to have it because it's got the joint, the union of all the streams. Okay. So net worth, that's in plan. Yeah, we're just adding this up. Ugh. I would like to say it's dollars. I don't know if we need that anything more than that. I mean, can I just give it in? Do I need multiple fields? Toy shape is identifiable. I don't know why that's important. Line chart data takes a month and a value. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, like a month number. All right. So let's make plan. Okay, I'm gonna shorten it. Well, yeah, I'm trying to change the structure. I don't want plan.project to have a side effect. I want to give it to give me that array of stuff, right? That's what we're getting here is an array of stuff. And I want to check that the last value is that, but I really want to check the stuff. Okay, so these are snapshots. Net worth data. Something like that. And I'm going to have this thing, I'm going to get there in steps. Okay. I'm going to say this thing should give me something back. All right. So it should give me an array of net worth datas. Okay. So let data equal that. And then I want to say data dot last dot amount should be my net worth. Okay, so well, it doesn't know what data is. Okay, so I'm kind of mutilating my thing here a little. Let's assume net worth still gets calculated, so I can just do one test at a time. Is redundant. Yeah, well, we're going to change that. Okay, so I'm going to pull this over to plan. And I'm going to make this return an array of net worth data. All right, and then var result equals net worth data nothing, empty. And then I'm going to say streams. Well, I want to do a reduce, I guess. If I take streams.reduce, $0 is my initial value, and then I can never get these right. Let me do it again. Pay attention to what it says. Streams.reduce initial, and then next partial is result, and stream goes to result. In something. Well, I'm going to say net equals that. whatever that is. So it should be result plus equals item dot monthly amount. Okay. Oh, am I just supposed to say result plus monthly amount? Okay, this reduce goes away. Okay, so that gives me the sum for this month across the streams, and then I'm going to do result.append month number, well, no, month net worth data, month, and then the amount is net. Okay, so this has to know the month. I think I'm going to make this one ... months. Okay. I don't know whether 0 or not is better. All right, append that. And then at the end, I'm going to say, well, no, that's not right, is it? Ugh. Okay, so that's your net is your effect of all the changes. I don't know, a good way to say this, like one-liner. Somehow I want to say net worth equals result dot last bang dot amount. Okay. If we do it right, that's what it should be, and then return result. And then we'll get net worth out of there shortly. All right. So this gives me net is the previous monthly amount. Okay. So var previous equals $0. All right. And we want to append previous plus month. No. Net previous plus net. And maybe I can just I'm not typing that word so well. All right, let's get through it and then worry about it. Okay, so I am keeping the previous month's data, adding it in. Let's see if this works. Shorthand operator. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, now somewhere it's complaining. All right, I don't think that's the most elegant thing, but it's doing what I want. That for any given month, we have to compute the net result, and then add in the previous month, and we're good. Maybe this is total instead of previous. And actually, I would say running total is kind of how I would use really describe that. Okay. Yeah, so that should still pass. Okay, now let's fix our next test. Well, we can commit that. All right. Make project return array of net worth data. All right, and now this one, let's let data equal that, and then data.lastBank.amount. Okay, that should just work. Okay, and then the actual net worth is no longer being used. Okay, so let's make sure that's correct. Okay, so what we've accomplished is we made project produce graph ready data. Well, and we removed net worth. Because I don't think there's scenarios where I want to just say like, what am I worth when I'm 97? You know, that's not really kind of a planning thing. I guess if you were worried about inheritance and stuff like that, you could care, but I think you have that final value. Okay. Are we all right? That still seems a little big for me. And maybe it's pushing me that this should be its own entity. All right, but I think it's closer. So I think at some level, I mean, my goal was get something that can display this stuff, and I think we have enough information now. The chart stuff, that's the one they're creating. We just do a chart, and then bar mark. We can do a for each and get the marks. It's not bar mark though; it's point mark, I guess, or line mark. Yeah, connected line segments. Okay, that sounds like us. Right. Oh, you don't even have to do your own iteration. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I guess I'm okay for where we are. All right. So content view. Now, what? Wow. Somewhere you got to have a plan. I guess that's not the app that's going to own it. Is it this content view? Well, okay. Let's Well, we don't need this image. We don't need hello world. I mean, I guess what... Well, this is where I'm not... Gosh. Did I save this somewhere? Let me hide for a second. Okay, so I have Joplins where I throw all my information for things, but somewhere I took notes on using observable. So you have some class and some function on it. You're going to declare a private variable tied to an observer, wrap it with state, pass it down, or give it through the environment. Okay, so I think we can pass it. Well, I think we can declare it up here. So let's do at state plan is new plan. And then, yeah, I want to be able to change these things. Plan equals plan. Well, no, I really want to make it passed in, I think. And then the preview, what plan equal plan dot add stream salary 1,000. Let's just get that much going. At state, I don't know, am I doing this right? Okay, I got, follow that link. All right, so we make this thing observable. We got a view, our book, global book. Okay, we'll mark that thing observable. Why does that? And this is more what I'm talking about. Extra argument in call. Maybe that. Result of initializer is unused. Well, yeah, that's true. I think I can do that. Oh, it doesn't have a count. Not a good choice then. All right, result of content view initializer unused. That seems like not this thing's problem, but okay. Well, I want to make a list of plan.streams text $0 mount. Padding probably doesn't hurt anything. All right. And it requires stream conform to identifiable. Okay. That seems reasonable enough. I think we can do it that way. Am I supposed to return this? Okay, let's get the preview. Failed to build scheme. Maybe that belongs up here. State prep R. Create the source of truth. That sounds important. Okay, variables. Wrapping the book with state. You're telling it to manage the storage. You can also do it at your top level instance. Okay, I guess we can do that. And now I'm not sure this should be, oh, let's put it in the environment. That's what goes in the view now. Okay. Make sure I'm doing this the way they're saying. State, private var, whatever, dot environment, slash dot library. Key path. I don't know where that, oh, these variables. Oh, this gets annoying. I should just be able to pass it in, though. Is it bindable? Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I think so. This must be observable. And then, where's that? Import foundation. Okay, so if he's observable, then the content view needs to be bindable. And the app contains the state for it, passes it down. This might need a $sign, I'm not sure. Okay, what's your complaint? That looks like a non-complaint to me. Why are you complaining? Hey, there's something. Okay. Oof. All right. Yeah, now how do we want this laid out? A bunch of fields. I don't know if they should be, yeah, they probably should be manipulable. And there's probably a stream view, and the stream is an editable thing. I don't know if I want the chart. It looks like maybe just from a space perspective, if I can put the chart on the right. Okay, so this is going to be an H stack with that stuff. And chart, and we just had to do chart of data. Plan.streams and line mark. X is the month. I don't know what dot value is, but cannot find chart in scope. Do I have to import charts or something? Chart on top, fields on the bottom. Yeah, maybe so. Either I think we'll just play with it and see what we end up liking, but I'm not sure why I'm not seeing chart. Well, it's not. Yeah. Well, I'm also imagining we're going to get a state with, 9 or 10 charts or maybe 100 charts. I'm But yeah, let's do that. Okay, but I don't want this. I want, let's say, project 12 data exco value month is data dot. That can't be right. Zero, one, two. I'm not sure what this is after. I would have thought this thing would have type like our net worth data. $0 dot. Okay. Dot. Why are you not saying month? Amount. Okay. Why can't you find those? Is it Swift charts? Did they tell me somewhere? Charts. Init content requires net worth data conforming to identifiable. Okay. Okay, project. Okay, well, that's kind of good. I mean, it's something. You got your 12,000 after 12 months. Let's project it 10 years just to see what we're looking like. Okay, it automatically chooses that. Let's add some padding so we can see it a little better. There we go. All right. Yeah, this is kind of a thing. Okay. Well, I mean, that gets us a little bit of a milestone there. I think. Yeah, let's pause here, take a break. So we've got the default. Well, the value we're showing is the one with the stream of salary. Let's add expenses in here. Okay. Right. That's All right. So 200 a month is 1,200 a year times 10 years. Is that right? How many years did I say? 120 months. Well, we got 200 a month for 120 months. So 240, 24,000, I guess. Okay. Well, that's something. I mean, it's a start. So yeah, 2,400 times 10. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Right. So let's take a break, and we'll come back. And I think there's more to do. Well, this should be more dynamic, right? We want to be able to click a button and add, put an add button here or something to put a new one of these things in. I don't know that I like the formatting too much. And really, there probably should be a view, and these maybe editable would be nice too. But I don't know if we have to start there. But yeah, let's take a break. I mean, that gives us a starting point. So 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll come back and move on. All right, welcome back. So, well, I know one thing I think I want. I think I want this reversed, if it'll do it. Yeah. Okay, so the most recent thing you add is there. Okay, so um well, we've got we have the streams like salary and expenses. We don't have the assets, and we don't have the notion, like, I don't know. I want to be able to say, well, okay, one scenario would be just a simple scenario with Social Security, right? Retirement age, you basically stop your salary and start your Social Security. Although you can stop working as soon as you want, right? But you don't collect Social Security until you decide you want to and you're eligible. The other thing is, like you've mentioned a couple times, Mudshark, about like we don't have interest stuff going on either, and that seems kind of like an oversight. I mean, we get very straight graphs if we don't have that. Another thing is the notion of multiple scenarios. Like we don't want to go too far down the road before we take that. Now, okay, I'm going back to my models pictures. I almost think, well, there's a method of storing, like, if you have your bank account, just your normal checking account at a bank, say, and you want to get the balance, they have kind of two main options, right? They could either keep all your transactions and add them and subtract them and come up with the balance, or they could keep the balance and update it as every transaction comes in. And from the outside, you can't tell which of those they're doing. They have other reasons they want those individual transactions around. So it's plausible that your bank might just do the transaction method because you probably have more transactions. You I don't know, at least you may not be asking for your account balance all the time. I know I don't. If I go to the ATM, maybe I get it, but I don't check it 10 times a day or anything. We have kind of the same thing. So instead of adding streams to your plans, like we could make it so a plan is derived. How do you change from Social Security? Yeah. Um, so, well, anyway, you could have them derived. I could make a plan is accepts a stream, and then another plan that accepts a previous plan and a stream. And so the accumulation of streams on top of them, they could figure out their balance, like their projected data is their own data plus the sum of the data beneath them, kind of thing. How do you change a specific date? Yeah, I mean, I think what we need, and I don't know, I started laying stuff out before, but I hadn't showed this slide yet. But like a stream, it's got a name. It's either in or out, but it also has a start and stop. Oh, in out was I wanted to let you check things, check something to keep a stream in and remove it temporarily, like deactivate it. Okay, but I had this notion that there should be start and stop dates, and so I think maybe that's the next thing to look at. I mean, we if we said what happens if you've got a salary, yeah, you've got a salary till 2025, and then you stop, and your expenses aren't going away, so whatever pool you had will now start declining over time. Yeah, so start and stop, and I mean I could make it like choose the year or choose the month number, but I think in the long run it should be more flexible, and I should be able to say stop at age 67, okay, of the person. But we don't even have people yet. Maybe that'd be a thing to add. But if we say stop at age 67 and start Social Security at age 67, or we could stop at age 65, take off a couple years and then start Social Security at 67, that date is tied to you. Now, it could also be tied to your death date if it's an insurance kind of thing, or it could be tied to a particular year. In 2027, they're offering some weird tax thing that makes it great for you to stop getting a salary at that point. I don't know. But it can be kind of it could have multiple reasons for starting and stopping. Okay, so yeah, whoops, whatever that was. Let's go back here. Let's kind of get, I guess what we did already was create a plan allowing able to add streams to it. Okay, so another thing I could see, well, another one was add assets liabilities. Okay, so those are kind of initial values, I guess. But the other one we said was add start and stop dates to streams. Okay, so well, adding assets. I guess the thing I'm starting to struggle with is when I think about my own plans, it's like I have a regular IRA and a Roth IRA. So I don't know what if you have equivalents, but a regular IRA, the money is tax free going in, but taxed coming out, and a Roth IRA is taxed going in and tax free coming out. And so you might want to you change the way, like you may want to balance those two out so that your taxable income in retirement, like if you have a very big regular IRA, that money, maybe it's taxable. And if, say, you're getting, I don't know where the lines are, but I think there's one at 25,000, maybe 50,000, I don't know, but you earn over a certain amount of income and like, oh, it's pretty expensive to have $50,000 worth of income. But if you took 40,000 and then 10,000 from your Roth, you would have 50,000 income, but only 40,000 taxable, say, or something. Age 67 can be calculated to a specific month in the future. Yeah, that's definitely right. I don't know whether months are the basic unit we should use, like month number, and relate it back to that, to current state or something. Okay. All right. Well, asset and liability. I mean, we would just give them. They're going to be pools. They're just a lump of money. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But it would just be a lump of money. It wouldn't change on any basis. But when I think of the way I do things, right, like for me, my big change I made financially was income doesn't just go to my checking account. I send income to my savings account, and then I always withdraw the same amount every month from savings. So I kind of buffer it through that. And if I get a surprise bonus or something, it's not it doesn't affect how much I take. I'm just taking my flat normal rate every month. And so that sort of affects the flow of how things work. It's well, I don't know if it's a more psychological issue than how this goes, but I think the same thing will happen in as I pull in retirement accounts, right? That I'm making a decision to start withdrawing this retirement account at this age, and that that I don't know, that changes the way things are going to go around, more than just saying I hold an asset, add it in when you calculate things. But somehow I ought to say my let's say I stop working at 60 and retire and take Social Security at 65. I've got 5 years of no income. So it's got to come out of savings or something. There has to be some pool it's coming out of, or some other income stream that I've earned or set up or something. All right, but I think you're right. Maybe the start and end date stuff is the next interesting thing, and I don't know if yeah. Let's All right. So I don't know if the month number is the right quantity for that. I mean, it all comes back to it. All right. Oh, and sorry, the next thing. But we also need to be able to add a new income or expense to a plan. All right, you should be able to click a button somewhere and introduce a new one, not just always start with 1,100 or whatever I set up there. Okay, so but this start stop date is kind of more interesting, so let's do that one first. All right, so stream. Okay, so I'm guessing what we would say is give me the starting month and a stopping month, but I think they're optional. And if you don't specify a stopping month, it should just keep going. If you don't specify a starting month, it should just default to one. Okay, so let's make a test. All right, and I think our test can be useful. Now, I don't know. Do I still have? Yeah, I have his Swift test. Let's do that. So this is a stream. Yeah, that'll work okay. Has different actor isolation from 9 isolation. This is an error in Swift 6. Well, XC test case better get its act together. All right, we'll take this out. Okay, so the test I'm imagining. Well, right now we just ask you what your stuff is and you do it. Okay, so I think the test is given a stream with a date. So this is test. Amount invalid date range. Okay, so I'm going to say there's a stream and name. I think I left that. Yeah, it's anonymous. Okay, so let's make a stream sample, and his monthly amount is $100, and his start month 1, and his stop month 10. I guess I'm saying that's the last month that does it. Okay. And then if you ask me what his amount is, amount in month 11, then that should be $0. Okay. So Stream doesn't let us set these things up. Okay, so let's do start, ending, end. Have I set up start and stop? Okay, that's better. Maybe first and last would be better. I don't know, it's hard to get these right. But if last to me sounds inclusive, you get it from 1 to 10. Okay, that would make sense. All right, so we'll fix our test. First, last. Okay, and this should, oh, we don't have amount per month. Okay. Let's just default it to this for now. Let's not break everything, so we'll make this 1 and this be 1,000,000. Okay, we won't live that long most likely. Okay, result, this returns dollars. Okay, he's probably coming up with our monthly amount of 100, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I didn't do an invalid. I did an invalid instead of a valid. Let's do this. This should be 100. And actually I'd be okay with a couple of asserts here. Month 1 is $100. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, now let's do a test that's outside the date range. Mount. Outside date range. And 0 doesn't make sense for us, and 11 would be the next one outside. Okay, these will fail. Good. Okay, and they came up 100, right. Okay, so what I really want to say is if month is less than the first month, or month is greater than last, return 0. Otherwise, return self.monthly amount. Okay, we got to keep first and last around. I guess I got to define them first. Okay. Var first. I'm going to call this month number. Because these ints make me nervous. Okay. Let's do a type alias for now. Okay. Now this should pass, but I'm going to clean up these type names. Good. Okay, so let's use that here. Now I don't know where this should really live. It's only used here for now. But, oh, okay. I want these to be optional, not defaulted. Or do I just want the last one to be optional? Maybe I want the last one to be optional. Okay, so now I'm kind of refactoring this, and things change. Month greater than last, if it exists. Is that right? Well, let's break it up a little differently. I'm not sure if I can do it this way or not. Okay. So if the month is less than first, return $0. If it's not nil, so if there is a month set and the month we're asking for is too big, return 0. Otherwise, return self.monthly amount. Okay, I think that should be equivalent. Let's make that equal nil. Okay. Okay, so, well, we have a piece of it, but let's check this piece in. Add start stop dates to stream. Okay, and then now plan. Yeah, good suggestion. Thank you. Amount inside. Okay. So I think the change I want though is plan. I mean, plan should just ask it stream, how much do you want? So I don't know if I'm being unfair, but I want to change monthly amount. That's not really what we should be asking for. We should be asking for how much does this stream do in this month? So it should be amount in month. Now, I think it gives the same answer as far as we're concerned right now. So amount in month. Okay. Well, amount in month. And then, so I think we're asking each thing, what do you want to contribute this month? Not what do you contribute the months you're really operating or, yeah. All right. So this, I think, is refactoring. As far as the tests and what we have now, we can't tell the difference. So I'm not going to treat it as a separate thing. If you ask for the amount contributed this month by this stream, that seems like a reasonable question. Okay. So the thing that's funny to me still, and I don't know, I'm probably more sensitive to this than I used to be, but when you have an array like this, there's something going on that is across the array, and you can see it here. It's calculating, given these streams, what do you do this month? Now you could calculate it the other way around, given this month, what streams, iterate over streams and then inside there do months. But I think for our purposes, we want to generate stuff with monthly data. All right. So this, to me, like there's something trying to emerge here. And I don't know what it is exactly, but we'll identify it when we can. Okay, but we could pull this array out as an object right now, and it would have at least one method, which is amount for month. Okay, but like we've used observable, and notice like there's less going on than we had to do before with when we had observable object and we had to say at published and all that stuff. The way observable works, it's using macros instead of kind of marker fields or markers on the class. And it parses this thing. Basically, it parses the view. Let's get there. What it sees is, hey, you're accessing plan.project or you're accessing plan.streams. I therefore should make those publishable fields that I can get to. And it handles all that for us. Now, I think there's going to be occasions where it can't quite figure out what's going on and we have to do some stuff. But it's kind of nice. I mean, it's simpler. Yeah, whoops, this should be there. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's streams. I don't know. I'm going to let it sit because I could see us restructuring out projection away from plan. Would that matter? Because I don't know if you need the whole set of streams. Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, but anyway, we've made this thing observable, and that's done. We don't have. Well, we don't have examples. All right, let's make it. Let's make this a retirement example. So his salary, and then the last. Let's say he's going to retire in 5 years. So 5 times 12 is 60. So if he's going to retire in after month 60, so he's going to work 5 full years. And what's your problem? Stream at last. Stream. Do I have to say first? If I say last? String. Oh, I got to put it in the parentheses. Okay, so let's check this preview. It should go up to a point and start going down. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and that's kind of lovely. It tells us he's got no savings. Oh, he runs out. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. So here's month 60. And then, I don't know, that looks like it's maybe, if that's 10, 20, 25. So he's got maybe 15 years. At age 80, he runs out of money. Okay. So that's pretty, that's a pretty important result for somebody. Like, okay, you can retire, but you will run out of money at age 80. Okay. Barring other things happening, but you don't have enough money, if you're, spending this much a month, and that's what it's going to be. Okay, so that's at least interesting for somebody. I wouldn't have guessed it was quite so fast. I mean, I guess he accumulated 5 years. Wait a minute, something's funny. He accumulated 5 years. He's only spending 80%. So it should last 25% longer, 6.25 years. I don't know. Can we? Okay, there's ways to get this stuff to hover or tell you what the point is. It would really be nice. I mean, I would love to know what this inflection point is and when this inflection point. The maximum is kind of nice. The zero, like I really want to know that this is month 72 or whatever. And actually, I would kind of like to, I don't know if I want to do a shaded thing, but this stuff, something should be turning red, right? You're running out of money big time. 100 months is 8 years, right? So 8 times 12 is 96 anyway. You're not lasting. Well, that's 4 years. Yeah, 4 years and a couple. Okay, so you got 5 years. I don't know. I think you're lasting maybe 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Okay, which in a way, I guess it's going to be 5 years to accumulate, and then it should be at least five to spend. I'm not sure why that's what's bugging me here. Because, oh, no, we're only netting 200 a month. Okay. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, it must be possible to change color depending on value. Well, we have it in here. Yeah, maybe it's a custom draw. Maybe line mark might have something. Multiple lines, yeah. Now, I could see this maybe when we do scenarios, right? Different lines for one set of them. And you can also put point marks with line marks, I think. Where was that? No, let's go back to this one. This is a project? No. Let me try the Hacking Swift site. Wow, nothing? That seems. Rendering charts, yeah, that's rendering a line chart. Spark lines. Right. I think we can just do add a point mark at each point. Foreground style and linear gradient to change color. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I get very distracted. I don't think that color is probably the most important thing, but gosh, it is kind of worth knowing that you're running out of money, and I would love to be able to hover over here and see something. Okay. Let's try. Let's. Whoops. Okay. Chart data. Bar chart on continuous hover. One selected month. I don't see what he's getting. Add annotations. Attach an annotation. Well, that's more on the lines of it. Yeah, foreground style linear gradient to change color. Yeah, we should do that. But I think this notion of annotation. Let's look at line mark and see what we can get for annotation. Wow. Conforms to chart content. Okay, let's hope that has some annotation. Oh, foreground style. Well, let's try that. Line mark. Where do they put that bar mark after the mark? Okay. Amount greater than 0. Show it in green, else red. That's by segment. Okay. Let's put a point mark. And we'll do the same stuff. Oh, interesting. It's just too much data. Okay. Why is $0.amount? I'm not clear on what's going on here. Okay. Well, I keep saying it's not the most important thing, and then I keep going back to it. Right. Why is that not? I mean, it's plotting each individual one, and y is $0.amount. So if this is greater than 0, can I trigger anything to get it to? Okay. Well, I did it with the point mark, and it's got so many samples, right? It's over 100 samples, so it's just crowding them in. It looked like a fat line instead of anything with any information to it. So Let me do a search for foreground style with line mark. Maybe it just doesn't even apply to line mark or something. I think this is more generic. A view that uses it. There's the gradient. Mark Sling. This guy's site's pretty good too. Mastering charts. Buy value. Oh, there's line mark, interpolation method, cat mole rom, align stroke style. That's what we're looking at. Well, you can do a bunch of stuff with it. That's useful to know. So many ads. Oh, now there's a nice little area thing. That's kind of nice. Value week steps dot period. Value week steps dot period. Yeah, I guess we could get it a little swoopier, but change the line colors. For style, by value, week steps dot period. Yeah, I mean, you could probably do it like every 10 points or something, every 10 months. Well, maybe every 6 months will be better. Or 12. Okay, symbol by value week steps dot period. I just don't understand what that is. And he doesn't seem to be changing the colors as he goes. Foreground style by. Okay, we've only got 5 minutes, so I guess I'll play with this the rest of the time. Okay, value. I don't know where those colors are coming from. Custom line colors, symbol by. Symbol size interpolation. I mean, it must be coming from this. Foreground style by. Well, I guess we'll let that one go for now. Why that doesn't work, maybe we'll do a little experiment tomorrow or some other time in the future. But I think start stops to streams we've done. Okay. And then I think what I want to do is I want to put, well, I don't know if it'll be up here. I want to put a button that will add and then let me create my expense. Or salary. Okay, so next time I think we'll deal with that. I think I want to add people at some point, like to express retire when Joe hits 67. We need that. Okay, so I think we'll pick up there, adding new expenses so we can make this thing just an editable thing, and let us introduce those, and then people, and then hopefully we can look at tying streams to people and getting the dates from there or something. Okay, well, thanks for joining. We got to start. We have to start somewhere. So I'm pretty happy to see this much even now. The chart reveals something interesting, and that's only going to get better. All right, so next time it's 2 to 4:30 Eastern. Next week, I guess today's already Thursday, so Monday, and 2 to 4:30 Eastern, 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks for your help today, and catch you in the future sometime, I hope. Bye-bye.